Hi, this is Eric Smith. Time to do another quick look video, and I thought I would do it from 1 Kings chapter 22. This is actually the last 3 verses of this chapter and of this book, and the Word of God reads this way. Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, became king over Israel and Samaria in the 17th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 2 years over Israel. He did evil in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of his father, and in the way of his mother, and in the way of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. For he served Baal, and worshipped him, and provoked the Lord God of Israel to anger, according to all that his father had done. In these last 3 verses, we have in 1 Kings, and you will see this in 1 Kings, 2 Kings, you'll see it in 1 and 2 Chronicles. They will always tell you about a king that ruled, and it always begins, here's the king's name, they're the son of someone, and they ruled in Israel over a certain period of time. In this particular verse, verse 51, it says, Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, became king over Israel in Samaria in the 17th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah. So they're telling you the time frame when they became king. And this was from about 853 to 852 BC. So it was around that time. And of course it says, and he reigned 2 years over Israel. So they're chronicling the time. But verse 52 is the key verse here. It says, he did evil in the sight of the Lord. So this was a wicked king. He did evil in the sight of the Lord. The Lord is omnipresent. He sees and knows everything. He's omniscient. So he sees what this king is doing. And he says, and walked in the way of his father. His father was Ahab. And in the way of his mother, who is, if I am not mistaken, Jezebel. And in the way of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. And Jeroboam was a king going back many, many years, a few generations. And it says Jeroboam, who made Israel sin. Or it could even be talking about Ahaziah. Here's the thing. He did evil in the sight of the Lord, and he walked in the way of his father Ahab, and the way of his mom Jezebel. He walked in the way, the same way that they walked, this king was walking. And verse 53 tells you why. It says, for he served Baal and worshipped him. Now, Baal is demonic worship. It's a false god. And it says, and provoked the Lord God of Israel to anger. Because when you go into idolatry, you're going to provoke God. And he is the Lord God of Israel. So he's the God and the King, Lord of Lords, King of Kings of Israel. He set apart a people to be his people. So when the king's not doing the right thing, it's provoking God to anger. And he says, and it says at the end of this verse, according to all that his father had done. So if you know about Ahab, Ahab was a wicked king. He was, and you can go back and read all of his accounts. So his son was wicked as well. So you may be asking, dear Christian, why am I reading these 3 verses? Because it shows that wickedness and sin in your father and your mother can be passed on. It says he walked in the way of his father and the way of his mother. When it says he walked in the way, he's doing the same thing that they did. Now, he could be doing the same thing just because he was wicked himself and it's a coincidence. But because it's his parents, he's picking up on what they're doing and he's learning from example. His parents could be teaching him that or showing him that, and so he thinks that's the right way. And if it, tickles his fancy and strokes his sin nature, then he's going to do it because he sees that his parents are doing it. Today as Christians, we need to be careful about being good examples to our children. Particularly as Christians, we need to bring them up in the Lord. They don't need to see wickedness in our lives. They don't need to see an example that's a bad example, because if they do, they're going to think it's okay. What's that old saying? Don't do what I do, do what I say kind of thing. That's ridiculous. You can say that to a child or a young man or a young woman that's your children, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to do what they see you doing. You're an example to them. Everyone has parents, and parents need to be an example. And if you're Christians, you need to be a godly example. Because if you're not a godly example, what's going to happen is the sins that you do are going to be passed on to your kids, because that's all they know. That's why unbelievers today do that. How many times have you seen a child molester molest his children, and then their children grow up, and what do they become? A child molester. Why? Because that's what they know. And they could even know that it's wicked and complain about it, but still do it. In the same respect, this king got his ways of Baal worship and everything else from his parents. And you know what? That should never be. We should always bring up our children in the Lord if we're believers. But if we're fake believers and we really don't know the Lord, which Ahab didn't, then you know what's going to happen? You're going to bring them up in wickedness. So this is 1 Kings chapter 22, verses 51 through 53. I just wanted to do a quick look to I just wanted to be sober-minded here and just warn you, Christian, that how we bring up our children is important. We can see in the Old Testament scriptures that many fathers didn't do the right thing, and it passed on to their children because that's what they saw or that's what they were taught, and it should never be that way. As always, if the videos on this channel have encouraged your Christian walk and edified you in any way whatsoever, but you have not subscribed to my channel yet and you want to, hit the button. If you want to leave any comments, please do so, but please don't be snarky. Please do not be profane. We want to be Christ-like in everything we say and do as Christians. And until we do another quick look, we have to remember that the Old Testament was written for our example and written to warn us not to do the same thing. We can look at wickedness in Old Testament Israel and sometimes laugh at the things that they did and go, how could they do that? But you know what? If you walk in the flesh, even as a Christian, you can do some of the same things. We need to let the Holy Spirit lead us in the truth of God's Word. Because if you truly don't know the Lord Jesus Christ and you're a fake Christian in the church, I guarantee you, you're going to be exposed, and your children are going to expose you by doing the same thing that you did. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and God bless.